Hey, hope you are all still doing well. I'm recording this on, it's like Friday, July 21st, so I'm still on leave right now, but the plan is, unless anything big changes, I will be there for class this Wednesday when we have exam 4, and then for the rest of the semester, I'm only going to be at the college for our class and maybe a little bit afterwards, but I will be in person, so if you have any questions, we can go through anything you need. In the meantime, feel free to keep sending Blackboard messages or emails. I can respond to those as well. All right. So this week you have exam 4, and that's going to cover chapters 9, 10, 11, and 12. So remember, last week you were supposed to watch chapter 9, which was on the cell cycle and mitosis, or week before last. And then last week you were supposed to watch chapter 11, which was genetics, and 12, which was on like DNA, the molecular biology of the gene. So DNA, how DNA makes RNA and how that's used to make proteins. So all of those are going to be on the 4th exam. And even though that's 4 chapters, they're all pretty closely related. They deal with your cells and the nucleus and DNA and how that works. So just study and prepare like normal, and it should be a pretty straightforward test. Focus on the different stages of mitosis and what happens in each stage, all of the different stages of meiosis and what happens there. The genetics chapter, it's long, but that's one of my favorites. So, look at all of that material. There's a lot, but things like Punnett squares, things like dominant versus recessive traits, things like heterozygous and homozygous, and all of that, the ratios. Just prepare for those. If you have any questions, keep sending me messages before the test. And like I said, it may be later, but I'm going to be checking at least once a day, and I'll try to respond as soon as I can. All right. After we do exam 4, we are going to have lab 8, which is on bacteria. So we'll just go over to the lab classroom, and then this one is going to be looking at microscopic images of different types of bacteria. So pretty straightforward drawing. There's a few labels that we'll have to do, but it's a pretty straightforward lab. It's just going to be looking at the microscope and drawing and answering a few questions about bacteria. All right. For your lectures this week, now focus on the test first, but after you've got that out of the way, there's a chapter 20 review quiz, and chapter 20 is on bacteria and archaea, which is another type of a prokaryote, and viruses. Just when you're watching this, viruses have obviously been in the news a ton lately. I'm waiting on the next edition of the textbook to come out to have more resources on COVID. So that's not included, but I'm aware of COVID. That didn't slip past me. But that's not included on the lecture. We are going to talk about some other historical viruses, and what they have caused. All right. So that's really the only assignments for this week. You've got a review quiz, which is due at the time of our final on chapter 20. So that's open. It'll be open when you see this video, but it is going to be due on Wednesday, August 9th at 8 a.m., which is the final time that we will meet and we'll have our final exam. All right. Okay. Last few things. I've got a end of semester survey that I've posted, and this is going to be a chance to earn 5 bonus points right at the end of the semester. So it's open now. Go over to the quizzes tab, and you're just going to tell me a few things about like the different aspects we had of the class. Did you find them helpful? Did you not? And then at the very end, you've got a chance to just leave any feedback that you might think would be helpful for me to maybe make changes in the future or something like that. All right. Last couple reminders, just making sure I got everything. Okay. Next Tuesday, which is August the 1st, that's the deadline to withdraw for summer classes. So what I would tell everybody right now is really focus on exam 4. Just do the best you can on that. But as soon as I get those grades posted, if you will let me know if you have any questions about your grade, we can talk about what it's going to take for you to finish with whatever grade you're shooting for. One thing I would say is no matter what, if you're failing the class, you need to talk to me about if you can bring your grade up to passing and what it's going to take to be able to do that. But even if you're not failing, but you just want to have a higher grade than you do right now, then let me know, and it'll take me just a few minutes. It might take me a while to get back with you, but I can pull out the grade book and say, all right, you're going to have to score this from here on out to finish with a B or whatever grade you're trying to get. All right. So that's it. If you got any other questions, let me know. One last thing, I know there have been a few students that have missed an exam recently. So what we're going to do is this week, Wednesday is exam 4. Next week, which is, if my math is correct, August 2nd, that Wednesday, that is the day that we're going to do all makeups, and that's going to be after we have our lab. So the way that'll work is next week, I'll have more information about this in person, but next week we'll have our lab, we'll have our last lab, lab 9 at 8 o'clock. And then when everyone is done with the lab, students who need to take a makeup exam, you'll take that makeup immediately after that. Now, if you don't need to take a makeup, if you've made every exam so far, then you don't have to do anything. You just do the lab and then you'll go home. And that's only for students who have missed an exam, and let me know about that. All right. Okay, we're winding down. There's 2 weeks after this week, so we are almost done. So just finish strong, and then you'll get a little break to enjoy the rest of your summer. So reach out if I can help. Thanks.